in your book, you talk about suffering rightly, and it's an interesting term. Tell us what you mean by that.
The concept of suffering and being in the presence of the Lord and things being separate is really not what it means to suffer well. I think that suffering well is, I have questions, I have concerns, I have doubts, I have emotions, bitterness, anxiety, resentment. And so suffering rightly is, I am going to bring those things into God's presence, even if it's uncomfortable, even if I'm not sure exactly how. I think Job is such a perfect example of that, because we all know the story of Job and how it ends. Job is ultimately rewarded by God and received by God, and his friends are not. And the only difference is that Job, all of the things that he was experiencing, and he brought them into God's presence. And so he wasn't perfect in that. And I think that's where we get confused. Suffering rightly does not mean suffering perfectly. It's not possible for me to be perfect in my suffering, but it is possible for me to suffer with the Lord and to suffer in the Lord's presence.